胸ぐらを掴み返して反撃のパンチを繰り出すくらいじゃなきゃお前の隣には立てないから相手がなんてね寄らない何度もされても諦めない忘れるな忘れるなと言い聞かせ続けたのに傘はいらないから言葉を一つくれないかぬる優しさではなく弱音に侵された胸の奥をえぐるような言葉を何度も青あざだらけで涙を流して流して不安定な心を肩に預け合いながら腐りきったバッドエンドに抗うなぜだろう喜びよりも心地よい痛みずっしりと響いて濡れた服に舌打ちしながら晴れ上がった顔見合って笑う土砂降りの夜に囚われの日々に問いかけるように光った瞳の中で誓ったリベンジ
Get up out of here. Nah. Oh, you know what? Hold on. God, I wish they had the remaster version. This one's really good, but like, oh. we'll be getting into this later. Dude. Dude. Oh. Spiker. The Spiker's still playing. He probably got stuck on a bus or something. No, he left. Damn. I know he didn't. No, never mind. It just took a second. Hold on. Oh, he found like a big shitter to fight. Another giant. Is this the same one? Nah, it's not the same one. There's no way that's the same one. Woo. I'm gonna have to eyeball it. I forgot to start the timer. Ooh. Oh, ow. Ugh. Let's get rid of these. Cut it up.
I couldn't be bothered to think of a happy
Oh, did he win? Well, I think he did.
night.
Or at least said, no, it's just another face. Damn. No.
But little did I know that that's all that was on your mind the whole time. Paranoid, tried to avoid destiny when
Okay, we're getting there. Almost a little bit more time and then we'll get started. We got plenty of space, at least for the first recording. I'll probably just clear out the MKV and stuff when we get into it for Live Alive later. I didn't realize how consistently we were doing Mystery Up before. We have like almost 60 parts or something crazy like that. Man, I really went hard for a second.
Holding on to memories, fantasies, and disaster. We knew it wouldn't, we couldn't stop at the start. You went in the season of breaking my own heart. You scratched my name off of the mixtape, and now it just says favorites.
Second Joel's yeah, like that's, I guess it's just offensive. So someone did this during clan matches. GBO2 kind of related instead. This dude fucking, I'm assuming that the Bugu, maybe at the higher cost, maybe just baseline just has offense system or something, because he just like smacked that shot out of the sky and just kept going.
When I see all your hits and who you write them for, you're here now, and that's just fine. But why haven't I? You're moving on, I'm moving so towards the good and goodbye. 'Cause you're growing up while I'm growing tired, holding on to memories, fantasies, and disaster. We knew it wouldn't, we couldn't stop at the start. You went in the season of breaking my own heart. I have to come to terms and live in peace, knowing that the only one who loved me for me and never leave is me.
'cause we're growing up, but we're on our own time. Cherishing the memories, fantasies, and disaster. We knew we wouldn't. I'm so glad we could start. Thank you for ending the season of breaking my own heart. You ended the season of breaking my own heart.
Alrighty. Let me do something real quick. Alrighty. Where am I? Ooh. So we are in it. It has been a hot minute since we touched this game. Hopefully you guys are doing alright. I was hemming and hawing, and then I was watching Spiker get on, do some LD Rang, talking to people, so we're starting at a really weird time as usual, but it's failed the mystery of time again. It has been a minute. Oh shit, hold on. Go to bed. Oh my god, of course. Okay, so I don't know how this is all gonna, if we're just gonna have someone show up and tell us about all the new shit, or if we just gotta start poking around. We gonna find out. Hey dog. Where are you? Hey dog. And just snowing. Okay. Oh fuck. Do I not have any more crystals on me? Maybe there's some crap in here. I have essence drippings. It's a gross way of putting that. Ew. Did I check this one already? I might have to go make some stuff then. Yeah, because that's monster powder. Oh, I'm gonna have to like reacclimate all the way with this shit. Let's see what's in here. Hey. Glowberry cookies. Wait, what? Glowberry cookies. So excited to see you, the glowberries you shipped in stock at the general store. This has been gathering them. I thought you might like to try out this family recipe. Oh my god, we actually get to make shit with glowberries. Gold fishing rod. Auto feeders? I thought we already knew that. Seed maker. What? We have a new item called Seed Maker in stock. You can use them to convert harvested crops and certain forageable plants into seeds. Ooh, okay. Thought I'd write you personally, since I bet it'd be helpful to have on your farm. Why not stop by the general store to take a look? Now I wonder if that means that there's skills related to that will give you more yield for using that? So the fish trap and a pier across the beach bridge. Got a new fish bait to place in it. It's a great spot to hunt down rare fish and other ocean oddities. Okay, I'm assuming that's something we gotta go get at her shop. Our hard work's finally paid off. Meet me at the inn for an incredible insect opportunity. We got so many fucking messages, dude. Mysteries are known, rank continuing to climb. I'd like to call a town meeting to discuss some ways we can improve the community. Okay. Perpetual soup. The inn's free soup of the day is pretty popular, so why not try making your own at home? That sounds fun. We now have a perpetual soup pot for sale at the inn. Put pretty much anything edible in it and you'll get a soup once per day. Ooh, okay. Generous contributor, I wanted you to be the first to know that we have recently installed an artifact replicator at the museum. It takes artifacts and exchanges them for decorative replica. Ideal for placement around your home and farm. Ah. Okie dokie. I feel like I've been made privy to some of this, like, piece by piece. We are gonna be going into the dungeon again, though. I'm pretty sure. So, for now, I'm gonna do this by hand. Grab this. Actually, hold on. Fuck this shit up. Fuck this shit up. Ooh, food. Hell yeah. Okay. Oops. Oh, my patterns are getting fucked up, brother. Oh, my lord. Okay. Oh, flogging it up. I don't have any more, do I? Shit. I gotta call out all the animals. The animals. Oh, did I move everything down? I think I did. Look at this. Get out. Get out. Outside. 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 It's kinda diffy. There's like one. It's like late over here. Look at you, not even. Ooh. Hopefully you've been doing good this weekend. Oh, I can yump. I yumped it. I'm sorry, I got another farm here. Everything's a miss. West Coast, only 11. How dare. Give me my 3 hours, what the fuck? Alright, let us investigate. Hello? Oh, too fat. Tiny Small, hi. You stop, you came! I have here a letter from the Royal Society of Entomologists. It congratulates Mystery on its recovery efforts and contributions to the science of entomology. It's wonderful to hear that a society from Capital has taken notice of our hard work. Wow, Luke, that's amazing. It is, isn't it? In recognition of our hard work, they'd like to offer us an opportunity to apply to their Apiary in Terrarium program. Oh, that's right. Apiary. Keeping bees in apiaries? That would mean access to all kinds of fresh, delicious honey. And terrariums can house bugs and make all sorts of useful things. Hell yeah. More buildings, let's go. To be sure we're qualified for the program, the society has asked us to ship them a lot of bugs. I'm good, but there's only so many hours in the day. I could really use your help. Maybe Reina Italy could help too? Of course. Just throw them under the bus. Go get those bugs. I knew I could count on you. If you could ship 20 bugs, Gustav, I'll cover the rest, okay? Just random bugs. I get them boogies. Hell yeah. After you ship them, come and see me, okay? Dougie. Wait, do I gotta walk out and in? Because I think they said they wanted to hold a meeting too. You do? How about a door? Okay, now everyone's just chilling. A thoughtful strike with a pickaxe is a great way to move any furniture you placed. I wonder who figured out you could do that in the first place. How's the clinic, Valen? Nice and quiet, which means people in town are well. I don't mind it at all. Ah, there's a cooking over here. Luminescent spirit mushroom at the museum. I'd never seen one before. What a color! I wonder if it makes nice tea. Give me that zoop. Give me that soup, brother. It's mine. Gotta keep that circulation of clay bowls in my fucking guts. No problem. Ooh, request that? Copper net. Oh, I was like net, huh? Zoop. I think it was 15 zoops. The fuck? You know how much one zoop costs? Look, you had them. There's a whole lot of those. Oh god, you're here. Hi. That lava piranha, thrown at the museum. How do you think it survives in such heat? It must learn its secrets. Oh, and there goes the seed maker. Shipping win? Well, in case I like just decimate the other one. One thing that, so we're getting another source of stuff with honey. There goes honey right there, actually. I still don't think we have a way of making other like stuff like soy sauce or like chocolate or anything. Oh. Hey, brother. Told Celine about the hot potato at the museum. Man, she said I was frying her patience. I'm so proud. I'm used to spending winters sleeping in the back of my wagon, so having my own bed at the inn has been a welcome change. Alright, it's time to go investigate something as well. Bug? Bug. Where net? Net here. Come here! What this? Is there a reason I didn't bother to learn this? What is this? Oh no, that's the glowberry cookies. Learn it. I probably have like an obnoxious amount of those still. Bug. No. Come here. Oh? Oh yeah, I still can't talk to people while I'm on this thing. You gotta throw your line all over if you want to see every fish that Mr. has to offer. It's true. Another bug. Did I mention? I'm taking the bugs. Bugs are mine. Oh. No? Oh. Wheat! Why do I add that here? And fibs. Wheat and fibs. What the fuck? Do I have enough? Where do I add that? I couldn't tell you. But I can make this fucking damn. How many do I have? Wow. Enough for one. Not for two. Okay. And bing. I gotta, before I figure out where I'm gonna put this, because the feeders and stuff's here, right? Okay. So we were at 80. This should open now. And pretty lady. Hero, thank goodness. I'm so glad to see that you are safe. To think that the fire seal would be trapped. I regret that I did not foresee it. Yet you have survived and succeeded in breaking the seal. Finally, my voice can reach you more clearly. You have done well. I sense something, hero. Draconic power? Faint, like a trembling pulse. Weak, but alive. No, it could not be. Lord Caldrus has materialized in physical form? And he did so to save you from the sealing scroll. It's nothing short of a miracle. Yet to take such a drastic measure. Lord Caldrus must be protected at all costs. If he were to... No, we shall not let any harm come to him.
We will need to proceed with extreme caution, Hero. The last seal was trapped. Surely this one must be as well. Pray, do not touch anything in this room. It is not safe. We cannot risk attempting to open the ruined seal in the usual manner. You are the only one who holds hope for reaching the final seal through the ruins beyond, for I remain incorporeal. Lord Calderis and I are relying on you. You are our only hope. For now, let us focus on the ruined seal.
Yeah, they've done a lot, and I haven't opened it since like sometime last year. So shit's going down.
If we cannot break through it in the typical manner, perhaps we can devise a way around it, so to speak. The boundary between worlds grows thinner, the closer we come to the final seal. With enough draconic magic, it should be possible. Lord Calderis has granted you Dragon's Breath, has he not? Come, Hero. If we cast it in unison, I believe we can open a portal to a nearby plane of existence.
Oh fuck, we're just gonna fucking Fusar Dara away past his door? Oh, crossing the streams. Oh, we're getting into like Super Robot Wars territory of just dimension hopping. Okay.
We have succeeded. Wonderful.
All the way down to like the power of dragons.
Now, follow me. Excellent. This should do nicely. Close your eyes, Hero. I shall grant you Void Sight. You will need it in order to proceed.
Sound like fucking Dreamcast sounds for a second.
We are one step nearer to the magical realm now, Hero. Of course, we cannot truly reach it from here. Not while two seals remain closed. This place is more of a connection point. A field between your worlds and mine.
Did we literally just make a Dark Realm right now? Is that what we just did? This is what it looks like.
Still want to start over.
Yeah, right, because the pacing of getting items and stuff, if you start over, is going to be very different. But it also means slogging through all this. I don't know how much into it you are for the dungeons and all that. I know a lot of people that I watch play tend to kind of just do them last or only if they have to progress shit.
But that makes it malleable.
Oh my god, it is a dark world. Because she can actually do stuff here.
And that is just what we need.
She's in dark here. Fuck off.
Do you see the cauldron there? You must gather 5 void stones, 5 void powders, and 5 void herbs, 5 void pearls, and place them within. Your new void sight ability will allow you to see and harvest these items throughout the mines. Once you have collected the necessary materials, we will use them to create a void mass. That will be our key to safely breaking the ruined seal. Go now, Hero. But do not speak a word of this to Lord Calderis.
Huh?
He is much too weak, and we must not tempt him to intervene again. Let us protect him. He must stay safe until the final seal is broken.
He's gonna know that we're progressing though once we break the next seal. Void Sound is a passive skill that will allow you to see various void materials throughout the mines. Void stones can be collected by breaking it with a pickaxe. Void pearls can be found by fishing up small fish shadows. Void powder can be found sometimes by defeating monsters. Void herbs can be found and harvested from the ground. So just doing what we normally do, but now we gotta do it for this. And look at this slurm my way. Was it just? Because you don't have me. Okay, oh, we gotta get out of here. Give me an stock world, lady. It's literally what that is. So, how much time do we have? Oh, it's already one. Okay, hold on. We're not gonna do that right now. Whee! I wanna go to the pier, little bitch. Also, for all that did, clear water feels. I drink the wawa. And give me that wawa. I don't think we still have anything going on here. Maybe not until we finish those ruins and they do another update. Because, yeah, that's still cut off. Bug. Oh, I can't go in there. What the hell? Yep. Ooh. Wait, what the? What? You guys are hanging out. Hi. Can't be too careful with lumber. It'll wander off if you don't keep a sharp eye on it. When I was a soldier, I slept with a spear in my bed. Now it's a fishing rod. How things change. I forgot that she's actually a veteran. Oh, more of these cookie. Yes. Bug? Come back, bug. Yes. Oh, Jiggy. Yes. I don't think we really have anything to put in there. Oh, maybe it's in here. Well, like the bait and stuff. Or unless we can just put whatever in there for bait. Maybe. Fibs. Any particular fibs, no. Doesn't look like there's a new item for it. And I'm assuming, I think she meant this little area, right? Somewhere in here? Yeah, there it is. Put the beat in Cody D. Load the fish trap with fish bait made with terrarium. Well, motherfucker, I'll get one of those. Check back tomorrow and see what you got. Well, shit. Well, at least we know. Damn. Big. I guess if you don't want to hop around like a crazy person in here, give me that first, brother. I feel like there was a way for me to do that, to actually grab them while I was... Oh, you know what it is? It's when there's an active, like frenzy of them in a spot. You can jump in it and get stuff raw dog. Here you. Come here. Each hopper. A little crabbler grabbler. Common crustacean found in the beach in all seasons. Common my ass. Took way too long to get him. Grabbler. Oh yeah. Is there anything over here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Is this something we can do now? Maybe? Eventually. Lighthouse, right? Fancy crabbler grabbler. Come here. It's funny that we found the relic crab before we just found, like, the regular one. Kind of, like, tear up his crabs. Just give me some of these. This is mine now. Duck. At least I don't have any duckies. I don't hit them. Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, wait. Mine. Oh yeah. Oh, you guys are playing. Shoot. Actually, I should probably give you guys pets. Come here. Pet. Goes. Pet. Although I think if they use that to play, then they don't really need it, right? It's not like that. You guys see him. Oh! Alright, they all felt eep. Send inside. Go inside. What the fuck? I was gonna go pet him and just, I'm done. What do you mean you're done? The hell are you talking about? Oh, they're all pitted. Interesting. Maybe it is because they go on to play and that counts. Interesting. Things to keep in mind, I guess. Oh god, it's late. Oh, it's already late. Time management. Definitely one of my strong suits, considering how I started streaming just now. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Wow. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, we really... So, tomorrow in earnest, we're gonna have to go into the dungeons, because I don't need just void shit. I need fucking essence and stuff for stones and things. Let's see what these guys are doing. The inn does a great mulled wine in the winter. A tiny volcano at the museum. You think it makes tiny basalt? Tiny rhyolite? I want to know. Couldn't be more excited that you're getting into ranching stuff. You know, most barnyard animals be happy to eat just about whatever you give them. Crops, forage, even cooked dishes all make great options in addition to milled animal feed. Who knows, they might even thank you for feeding them something particularly tasty. I was looking at the Caldosian drinking horn. They got an exhibit at the museum. Stop, it's so dashing. Thought it might commission March to make one for Hemlock. And so we find ourselves at the inn, rewarded for another day of wicked deeds. Cheers. Are the goobers playing upstairs? Yeah. Although, why are you doing up here? Oh, the girlies are talking. Do you remember when we were little and you couldn't see over the railing? Sure do. We used to pretend like we were sneaking around castle ramparts. Wasn't that game your idea, Celine? I saw Dell reinvented just the other day. Palace infiltration must run in the family. Cute. Good to see you. Hey, Pops. Feel a kinship with that lone caterpillar at the museum. I'm also an appreciator of a good loam. Don't know if I share his taste, though. Maybe I should give it a shot. Uh-oh. Not much of a romantic, Elsie. I don't have a way with words. You're a woman of the sea, Terithia. What more romantic than the salty stoicism of a fisherwoman? It's true. Now you're trying to rizzo fucking It's funny, Valen, but I feel even healthier nowadays. Well, health is one part mental. You do seem happier since you became the museum's curator. Dull parts are out-of-place artifacts of dubious archaeological value. They can be found all over Mystria. I was torn on whether to include them in our museum's catalog, but they certainly catch the imagination. Hey, bud. Terrariums, huh? On the one hand, that means Luke will be able to keep more bugs. But on the other hand, it means my little guy will be even happier. Seems worth it to me. It's like, oh god. He's gonna be happy because he's gonna have more bugs. It also means they're gonna have more bugs. Look at all them boogies in there. Seafood, fish tacos, and gazpacho. Do I not? I feel like some of those I might have, but if they're here, then the answer is probably no. Perpetual soup pot. That's full. $5,000, bro. I forget if there was a reason that I was saving up money, because I got a decent amount. I don't think that's really a lot, because I was probably saving for something that's like way more. But like, what the fuck was it? I gotta go home soon because I'm gonna pass out otherwise. Hold on. Time out. Hold on. Was it a home upgrade? Was they trying to say to expand the the land or something? There's like no music in here. Level 3 kitchen. Do I have the 2 or the 3? I might have the 3 actually. Cottage scroll. Crafting recipes for the lovely cottage furniture set. Okay. I don't know if I need all that. But maybe it's so I think, yeah, because we still have to do the mission itself for that, we're not gonna really have access to all that until that's done anyway. Jump! Nope. Alright, so all the animals are inside. It's almost time to knock out. Oh, bug. Bug. Come here, bug. Bug is mine. Bug. Yeah, we still need like a fistful of these guys too. At least we got a little bit of a start on it. Bug. Wait, what? There we go. Oop, 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 oop. Wait. I need that one. Bug. Bug. And bug. Okay. Bug. Bug. Hold on. I think I actually have to physically put it in there or whatever. That's fine, I'll do it later. I'll see you right now. Do it soon. And then I go take a good nap. Wait. Did I already send in a puffer? Fuck, I don't remember. Damn. Shit. It's Hemlock's birthday! Huh. Do I know things that he likes? Hold on. Hemlock. What the basil? I could give him adventure snacks. Adventurer kibble. Oh, fuck. You know what? That's why. I need to fucking ask Gamma from her gossip so I can see what other people like. That's why I didn't hit. I knew I was forgetting something. Do I not have the usual stuff for adventure? Oh my god, I don't. I'm actually... Oh, you know what? And water chestnuts are out of season. Motherfucker. Ugh. That sucks, because it's winter. I can't get them bitches. Ugh. Fuck. Ugh. Ooh. No adventure kibble for you, sir. I'm so sorry. I don't know what that is. What is that? Can I make that? I wish that they would let you hover and actually see what they say that they are. Gotta eyeball this shit like I fucking... This sprite art's good. It's not always that on though. I figured it would mostly be in here somewhere. Why does that look like a snail? What is this? Breaded catfish. It looks like a fucked up snail or something. Ah, here we go. It's a bread brisket. I don't got no cheeb. I don't got no cheeb, no booter. Damn. I don't know if I even have basil. You know, one thing I'm a little bit surprised that they never really entertained us making was, especially because we have all these berries and stuff, with some sort of like drinks and stuff, especially with the tavern and bar. Well, you know what that means. It's time for an apology rock. I just know I should have a baby. Eat a baby. Let me look at something before I do all that. So whether or not we go in or not, as long as that has power, I think they're still getting the effects. So that's good. Oh, and it's full again. Shit. Fuck. And the little babies. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, you know what that means. Go outside. Outside. Yeah, here vibing, giving out milk and stuff. Hell yeah. Good job. Tenku. Outside. Outside with you. Hey. Hurry. No, I'll be playing over here. Hey. Don't be acting like you don't got other grass and shit to eat. Get over here. Summer daikon. Wow, yeah, a lot of stuff popping up today. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think that also means because it's snowing that we're good for today, right? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah. He's gonna be like a rock. Valuable rock. It's like the equivalent of giving somebody a gift card. You can exchange this for goods and valuables. Valuables. Okay, hold on. Wait. I'm stupid. Hold on. I said one of these. Right. Brother. Did I not grab it? Am I fucking stupid? Don't answer that. I'm gonna try to give you this then. And we'll see. How about this? I'll give you. Oh, you got me something for my birthday. Can't wait to show Josie. Thanks, Gustav. Morning. Got a hot cup of tea on the menu? You'll wake right up. Give me that zoop. And my zoop. Hi. Adeline came by and let me know some of my blacksmithing orders would be delayed. I told her no problem. More importantly, look at you. Just to think about your work being shown off in the capital. Everyone's going to know Reese's name one day, I know it. Emma. Flame pepper at the museum. Apparently it's quite spicy. I'd like to be the judge of that. Ancient flame pepper. So... maybe it was for a house upgrade or something. Copper net. Hey, we can make one. I don't think that'd be too hard. I need to look up what it takes to make zoop. That's a lot of zoop. Between you and me, my Uncle Landon's giving out a little too much advice. Gotta let people figure things out for themselves sometimes. You gotta remember that he probably doesn't talk like that, because he's actually like a city slicker. Pine tree toast. Woo! Oib salad. Or zoop. It's not even like a kind of, it's just zoop. Vegetable zoop. Zoop zoop. I can make a couple. Hold on. Does it just say that? Hold on. I'm gonna sneeze. It didn't happen. Of any kind. What can I make the most zoop of? Oh. Oh, fuck me. Basil. He likes basil. He'd probably like tomato soup. Out here giving him, what is it, fucking leeks or whatever. Winter stew. Oh, soy sauce though. Boo! The fuck? So we're limited by tomato. I mean, to be fair, most of the time we just end up Do we grow these? Yeah, we do. Let's see. Some of this we grow. Others, for this one in particular, we had to buy soy sauce because we don't have any means of really making it. Beet Zootney's Popepo. There's a lot of crap in here, actually. Jeez. Ooh, I can feel it. Oh, it's coming back. It's Snapper. There's other ones that we don't have. Tomatoes we can make the most of, so fuck it. Power. We have gotten stronger in the way of Zoop. Oh, extra Zoop. Wait, hold on. I gotta take this home from my. Oh. Oh. Fibs. Where? No. Yeah. As a fucking stick. What do you mean? God damn it. And bowfish. Oh. Oh yeah. Come on. Ugh. Oh, extra fibs. Brother. What the? What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Bug. Come here, bug. Oh yeah. Oh, a new bug. Crystal caterpillar. Or at least one we've never really gotten before, so we'll go to the museum for that. You know, I said I was gonna go into the dungeon. It's already almost afternoon. Yeah. Am I surprised? No. Should I probably go over there? Yeah. Oh wait, no, I need you. Drop some stuff off. Oh hey, what are you doing? Gustav, are you making another donation? You truly helped to expand our collection beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you. I just wish we could go in and see the exhibits. Like, I wish that was just another area for people to hang out instead of just the lobby. I think that's weird that even after all this time, that's still not really the case. No, we did the winter set. Because this is just us seeing what we've gotten so far, and it's not quite the same. Now for the artifact set, and the caves in general layer-wise, there is a bunch of other crap that we can still get. Fibbing's gonna be a little bit tough in some cases. But we're making good progress. Flora in general, I guess, since it's just sitting out there, it's a little bit easier than most things. Ruins and Void Forge. Oh, Void. To view the Void technology. Also, yeah, with this whole armor set deal. Let me get that motherfucking thing on me. 75. I got that motherfucking thing on me. Come here, bitch. Bop, bop, bop. Skradap. Take it, that. Oh, yeah. Oh. The heels are too. Shut up. Ooh. Attack. Oh, I I actually have a lot less space than I thought. Shit. Ooh. Oh no, wait, what? Oh, because of the I'm stupid. That's why. Because of the set. Maybe we should go back. I can learn this. Whatever this is. Caterpillar chair. Money. Ooh, an ore and stuff. Hell yeah. We're not even just having ingots, brother. Hello, Curry. Hell yeah. Slurm on some of that later. But yeah, I got bogged down with my fucking furniture and flowers and shit. And education. Damn. Oh, smack. So they claim that thing was a passive. You just do whatever and then eventually shit'll just pop out. Now, that being said though, yeah, no. Controller source on radio, yeah. Okay. So it's not something we have to assign as a passive, it should just be a thing that happens. We just haven't seen it happen yet. Alright, let's see. Hello. Bug. Better slow that shit down, trying to beat me up. I do not need stick. Diamonds are nice though. Oh, there goes the void bit. Alright, so we gotta start making room for some of that then. The essence I need. The sap I do not. I swear to the Lord. Get in here. Get in there. No! There we go. Void powder. Crafting monsters can be used in high-level crafting recipes. Wow. That hot potato. Damn, brother. It's not junk in here. It's already starting to get late too. Can I get like a dragon power for slowing down time? I'd like that. Yep, bing bong. What is this? Actually, you know what? Perfect gold ore. Gold ore is incredibly large and splendid. Did we not have those before, or did we just not really mine enough to get that at some point? Oh, hey little guy, I'm sorry, I can't get you. Take you out of these mines. Yeah, go to the surface. Cause it's already bing bong. But well, no, we need that. In fact, when we go back tomorrow, I should put that in there. Run to the house. We got a little bit of time. We can go in town for a second. I think that we've have enough of a backlog with stuff going on that we're not really up against it unless we just go real hard on the ruins. Shiny parts of the crystal caterpillar are actually a defense mechanism. They're super sticky and break off easily. Predators think that's gross, so they leave him alone. That wouldn't work on Dell, though. It's lucky that Dell is a friend to all caterpillars. It's true. Did you donate that bellberry to the museum? It's cute when a thing looks like another thing, isn't it? I noticed that you work a lot of odd jobs around town, Ulrich. Very enterprising of you. Have any clicked for you? All of them, man. It's so fun seeing all the different jobs in Mystria. March says I'm an Ulrich of all trades. Some by the museum, Errol. You really outdone yourself, old-timer. Oh, that's kind of you, and thank you, Gustav. Without your assistance, our collection wouldn't be so grand. Let me top you off, old-timer. A little bit of drink helps to keep a fellow warm in this weather. Much obliged, sir. Now, where was I? Oh, the time Landon and I were lost in the mines. That thorn vine at the museum. I wonder if I could use it as a reagent. You're really making a home for yourself here. It's a bit... takes a bit of pluck, don't it? Hemlock's so handsome, isn't he? We've been together for ages, but he's aged like fine wine. Damn. I don't think there's anyone upstairs either. Run to the house. Oh wait, I shall also be on the lookout for bug. But where? Where bug? Get bugged. Oh, you know, I just realized. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a... Oh, actually, before that, all the animals are probably asleep. Or did I not let them? No, they're asleep. They're just in weird spots. Go inside. Inside. Get in the house. And look outdoors. Maybe later. Damn, that takes 10s. Fuck, I can't do that. Shit. I'll probably eventually get more. But yeah, doing that right now. Not a good idea. And a baby. Why did I get you this bed if you're not gonna use it? Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Winter stew. Restorative winter stew. Thank you. Do. Put that in there. And honestly, a lot of this furniture. I don't need a bug rug. I don't need none of that. Actually, I feel like there is something I need that for, but I don't remember what it is. I don't remember. On here. No. God damn. No birthdays. Well, good morning. Your dog. There you go. We put the stinky baby outside. Oh, you know what? I need to seed this. I need seed. Do I have any winter seeds actually? I don't know. I might have to go buy some. I might actually just go do that. But first, let me take out the animals. Animals, you must come outside. Do not eat the crops or I will kickflip you. Do not do it. The goobers are up to something.
Mom says I'm not allowed to have any lava snails like the one I saw at the museum. She knew I put it in someone's hair. And she said that's how Mr. Arrow lost all of his hair. Oh, poor Mr. Arrow. What? That sounds horrifying. What? I saw a bumblebee at the museum. They're so round and fluffy. Bee fact. People think they're called bumblebees because they're bumbling, but that's not true at all. It's because their genus is Bombus. Bombus means to buzz. So they're more like buzzing bees. Bzzz. Cute. Yay, it's just out. It's me. Hi. Just smell that fresh morning air. What else do we got here? Iron watering can. Watering can. What the hell? Okay. I can probably just make that right now. Do I have any? Cheap. I need golden cheese for that, brother. I can't make butter though. Oh, cause I'm stupid. Golden, whatever. Regular, we can just make whenever though. We could make a couple of those other zoops. Let me see about that. That watering can. Excuse me, pardon me, sorry. Hold on. No! What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, well that sucks. You wanted iron of all things, you gotta make sure they burn. Lake trout, no. I think a lot of these, like the katydid and stuff, are all seasonal. It's gonna be a minute for those. Miner's pickaxe. Oh, like a relic one, okay. You know, I don't know which one that's in. Layer-wise, it probably is a specific layer for that. Also, I keep forgetting to talk to Grandma. Where is Grandma? Grandma's not home. Grandma's at the spawn. What are you dicking around here for? Give me this. Give me this. Give it to me. What? Nosy. Look at you. Oh. Huh? Wait a minute. Grandma left. Grandma, where did you go? She's like in a holder. Man, that's my dog. What? Oh, these two are caking it again. Okay. I'm gonna go all the way down there though. Fuck. Oh, that was Valen. Oh, making stuff. Everybody's so busy today. How did she book it that fast? Because Valen was on her way up here, so it's not like I mistook her sprite for that. Jeez. Actually, hold on. Grab that. And it. That's probably. You know what? That's probably how. Because I bet you. Okay, no, they went inside. Thank God. Open the door. Wait. How's it? I need gossip. Let me know who you want to chat about. Well, it's a little late for that. Grilled cheeb. Although honestly, sugar and stuff's pretty easy for us too. I forget what that is. What are you guys talking about? You've done quite a bit of sailing in your day, haven't you, Tirithia? Sure have. Don't miss the long hauls, though. Happy to trade it in for this pretty piece of mysterious coastline. You. Oh, sorry. Again, can't make the bait until we get that other stuff sorted. Do they count as bugs? Not really. Big. I want one of these. Look at those big old horns. Cute. Fluffy. Oh. Hey, what are you doing in here? Hey.
Get over it. You too. Hey. Get up at it. Oh, hey. Now, where did I put my pencil? Oh, Dell has requisitioned it for the Dragon Guard. Again. Oh, I know. It's like, why did I go? I'm stupid. My brain, oh my god. Help. How many days of the... Oh, it's the 24th already. We might not have enough time for turnover then. This is really short. So probably just beats. Beats are... Damn, Daikons are fucking 9 days. God, fucking shit. Yeah, surprise snow peas. Snow peas or beets. I get like 11 of them or whatever. We'll see. Because I want to just put them around the auto dado. And I'll just slap that crystal in there, I guess. In fact, I should probably do that now. Before I forget. So at least gives them a little bit of a head start comparatively. I don't know if that's how it works. It's just brain things. Alright. Come on! No. Yes. Yes. Oh, that one auto watered. That one auto. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Where's the rock? Oh, I got more space actually. Damn. Okay. I could have did more. Fuck. The more you know. Or at least the more you remember, because I probably should have known that already. Wait, I didn't run out of stuff already, right? Did I? Oh, maybe I did. I don't think I have anything offhand that I can plant. Are some of these also? Well, unless they're radishes, then it doesn't really matter much. I didn't have adventure mix. Damn, I just had it in here. Adventure kibble. Do have other zoop. I know it doesn't really matter where this ends up in particular just because of the way that the system works for crafting, but actually finding it for having it on hand is a different matter entirely. Man, so we gotta go get iron too. I forget that that's like the second or third layer. I'd rather go get it. then buy it. Although maybe that's being a little too stubborn about it. Do I have anything else for this? Oh yeah. Well, no, I gotta put that away. I need to put that in the thing. I gotta go to the dark world. Hey guys. I need 5 of these bitches to go to hell. So they really do want you to just run it back for a hot second. Is this iron level? It seems not wet enough for some reason. Oh, but there's a void rock here, so that's what these look like. Void stone. Void stone found throughout the mines can be used in high-level crafting recipes. So for those, we'll physically see them. Okay. Alright, but hold on, because I need to go deeper in then. Yeah, wow. Okay. You got some iron ore right away, yippee. Yeah, that was quick. Actually, I gotta beat you up. Just going down. We're mostly doing this for ore and stuff, so. Being a pain in the ass. It's gonna go bing bong in a second though. Bug! Oh, that's a new puddle spider. Oh god. I don't like that idea. Just digging around near a puddle and suddenly you just see some shit like huh? Hell no. Oh? Is that a throne? What the fuck? Coral chair? Okay. Okay. Give me out. Give me out. If I can get her done real quick and then I can just turn that in, right? Yeah, bro. Max. Oh yeah. How much time did that pass, actually? It's probably the more pressing thing. It shouldn't take any time, because we're really good at it, right? I have enough water. What do you mean? How's that not enough? Need 9 of those bitches, that's why. Fine, I'll go get more tomorrow. Fucking damn. People are already on their way home. Oh, some people are already on their way in. Hey, are you taking care of yourself? Or do you have someone to take care of you? Tell me.
We get plenty of imports from the capital, but I had no idea there were so many kinds of fish. It's a big wide world, Elsie. There's even fish I've never seen before, I'm sure of it. Your family's quite kind to let me post up in that room for so long. Oh, it's nothing at all. We appreciate the business. Yeah, that's money, baby. You two are doing a bang-up job restoring the town. Thanks, Uncle. I couldn't get it done without Hayden or Adeline. Or Gustav, for that matter. You want to know my favorite dish from the summer seasonal menu? I like that dandelion salad the most. Celine, did you add dandelions to one of my salads?
I was gonna say, like, huh?
Hemlock and Joe left me in charge of making drinks. I've been practicing. So far, I'm up to On the Rocks. That means I had ice.
It's true.
Good job. He's so smart.
Bug. Bug. No, what do you mean on your space again? Hold on. Here. No, both. Both of them. I gotta let the animals back in. Hold on. Inside. And inside. Unless I just... No, they're just way out. They're just going way, way, way out. No, I kind of want that. That I gotta go put away. I should turn it in. I'm a fool. Fuzzy moth. Cute. I don't need any Fuigendoit. Are you kidding me? I feel like I'm gonna need them rocks at some point. Oh, also the mirror. Also another bug. Come here, bug. Take it in. Get up in there. Boop, boop. Here. So close, but so far. Oh, we got some time. Maybe another day or so. Get out of here. Oh, and it snowed again. Hell yeah. Get these rocks out of my face, dude. Move. How's that? How's that? What is he pissed off about? Hell. To 12. We still need about 8 more. And we can get all this stuff going. Get all them buggies in there. This is probably gonna take the longest. Oh, Manor House dining room. Okay. Oh, you guys are pissed off. What happened? What matter? Is the thing broken? It's not like I let them in too late. Well, for all the good that does. I don't know if there's a specific time of day where that actually, like, happens. weather's never scared me off of fishing. I'm not one of those fair-weathered fishers. Come here. Come here. Skitterbug. Skitterbug, come here. So are they just digging around with me? Ooh, it's so mean. Ooh. Alright, we gotta go to the manor then real quick. Go say hi. Also, Grandma Reader. Oh, more gossip. Good. Don't tell me I missed him by like 2 seconds or some shit. Oh my lord. I did. No, they're Valens, that's why. You're fit as a fiddle. As for your question, I don't know that I have any health advice for you, Elsie. You eat properly and have an active lifestyle. Wonderful. This calls for mimosas. Well, as long as you keep it in moderation. The smoke moth at the museum. What do you suppose it burns for fuel? Give me that gossip. Let me regale you with the latest gossip. What do we got? Oh, not for the boy. Of course, more sweets. Lemon pie. just throw sweet shit at him. Whatever, fine. At this point, just cram raw sugar. Oh, but she just left. What? Gustav, I'm so glad you can make it to our meeting. Welcome. Pull up a chair. Thank you all for coming today. As I'm sure you're all aware, Mystria's town rank has risen yet again. Congratulations, everyone. I think special thanks are in order for one Mystrian in particular. Well done, Gustav. We all appreciate your hard work. Hear, hear. Yeehaw. Thank you, as I have a lily pad on my head. Now, on to business. What? The kids are here. What do you guys want? Just busted into it. How about some old business, old people? You're really going to lead the Dragon Guard out of another meeting? How are we going to protect Mystria at this rate? Hemlock, I thought Reina was going to distract it with chocolate bars. She did. Oh yeah, we ate those super fast. My tummy hurts. Now listen, you three. You march yourselves right back to the inn. No, it's fine. They can stay. Yay! As long as you're all quiet, okay? You got it, Dan. Tiny gremlins are here. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. We have several items on today's agenda. There's a grant proposal to review, an establishment of lost and found, and... If I may interject, I second the lost and found proposal. Last week, Ulrich left the rock outside the museum that Aelin and I were convinced had some archaeological merit before he came back to claim it. It was, to quote Ulrich, a pretty rad rock, but it certainly wasn't a high watermark for the Historical Society. At any rate, a lost and found chest would be a net win for the town. Although we need some volunteer help gathering the lost items floating around town. Sounds like a lot of work. Who'd you have in mind? Why, I think the very person might be right in front of us. I nominate. Way ahead of you, Aelin. The Dragon Guard can handle it. It's true. Excuse me? Of course. We're on patrol protecting town all the time anyway. Yeah, you really should let us help. Then maybe you won't be look all so tired. Maple. Well, if they're volunteering,
I personally don't have any issue accepting their help. It's heartening to have such civic-minded youths in Mistria. I'm all for it. Very well. I'll officially assign the Dragon Guard to this very important project. Yippee! We did it, Dragon Guard! I'll set up a lost and found chest south of the stairs in town. Children, please gather any items we have been left around during the week into the chest every Monday, so that they can be claimed. No problem. That's cute. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Dragon Guard. Now, on to the next item. Just a moment, Lady Adeline. We haven't discussed the Dragon Guard's payment yet. Oh. Candy. Lost and found. The lost and found box is located next to the stairs up into town. The items that are left floating around the map will be... Oh, that's cool. Okay. Gathered onto the box every Monday morning. This includes items left inside buildings around town. Be sure to check the map each Monday. You may even find some surprises waiting for you. Interesting. Did the decor of this place fucking change, or did it always look like this? Wait a minute. I think everyone pieced out while that happened, though. It's still morning, too. Barely, though. So, I don't think we really had a lot that could be in there. We might as well go look, though. Just in case. Oh, there it is. Lost and found box is currently empty. Check back for new items on Monday. Ah, you know what day is it? Thursday, that's why. Fucking shit, bro. Good morning. I like it when Celine tells us really old stories about Eldaria. We used to have knights. It's true. Did you know the Windleaf butterfly at the museum looks like dry leaves to hide itself from predators? That's called an adaptation. It's true. You are correct. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Keep an eye out for buggies. Oh, bug. Bug. Please. I beg. Get bug. Get bug. Get bug. Oh. No. Fibs. That is gonna be something we're gonna have to spend some time doing in the ruins too. We gotta fibs for stuff sometimes. Bug? No. Bug. Is the entrance to the other forest up this way? Yeah. Oh, mushroom. Into the deep woods. Hooray! Bug. I don't know what else they could do with this area other than it obviously just being, you know, grave markers or whatever. But I wonder if there will be something that happens there later. Nut. Oh, that's right, bellberries are here. Just strumming away. Impenetrable melancholy through the way Calderas is playing his lute. It's hard to find the right moment to get his attention. He's not here vibing. Damn. Well. So much for that.
He pieces out when he goes through. Oh. 25, I think. So I still gotta get more iron. Bug. No. I am out of space for bug. Fuck. Oh, I was supposed to turn this in. Photo spider, that's my bad. I think we're literally just like one short for having the right amount for that too, damn. More iron, please. Definitely have enough for at least another ingot. Oh, there it goes there. Oh. Oh. It's not moving. What the hell is that? I don't really need that. I don't really need that either. Sand rug. Brother. Oh, and another chest. Oh, but that one's rumbling. It's a rumbling chest. Add this rug. How about that? You need to fuck off. Damn it. Stupid bat, dude. You made me hit the other thing. I don't want to do it. What a jerk. Oh. Oh wait, no, I need that. Can't have that. It's not for you. It might be too late for me to do foraging stuff right now, because after a certain point of the day, they're like, maybe not. But for stuff like this, no. For gold, maybe. I feel like we gotten pretty far in that we don't have to worry about stuff like that too much. Yeah. Might as well just do all that. Oh yeah. No problem. Watering can. Is there description why she needed specifically an iron one? That's weird. I feel like we're way behind for that. Iron watering can seems to have been misplaced. Can I request someone to craft me a new one? Misplaced. They lost it. Oh, is she? Oh, girls' night. Do I just give it to her, or do I fucking turn it into bucks? I don't remember. I'll go try to give it to her then. Just barging in. Sup? Oh, thank goodness you answered my request. You must have turned over every inch of the house, and Growlin's looking for the old watering can. And even if we do end up finding it, 2 watering cans isn't a bad thing to have. It's true. Cutest thing about the ash mushroom is the museum is those little puffs it releases whenever it gets jolted. That's the spore cloud, you see. It's true. The earthquake really devastated Mystria. And it's thanks to people like you that we're getting things back to normal. Better even. That cooktop beetle at the museum. They say you can fry an egg on their shells. It has to be a really tiny egg, though. It's true. That's a little itty bitty egg. What am I doing? Did I even have my zoop? Hold on. Zoop. Potato zoop. Ah, those kids. When I told Joe to broke in a council meeting, she couldn't stop laughing. Oh my, it's the exact type of beer Miss Greta used to drink. I see she passed on her good taste. Ah, shucks. I'm glad to hear Grandma passed on more than her square jaw. The nephew works hard and has a good eye for detail. Better than mine, I'd say. I might have given him a run for his money in my prime, though. I know, Ma. Being in like ours takes a lot of running, but I take pride in all of it. I've never seen an emerald as flawless as a perfect emerald shown at the museum. It's simply magnificent. Hemlock always lets me make my protein shakes at the bar, but on the condition that I don't tell him what goes into them. Says drinks are sacred, but the body is sacred too. I need my protein, bro. Needs it. Oh my god. Hit the button is right there. What are you doing? What the hell? I need to let all the animals in. Oh shit. Oh shit. They've been sleeping out here for like a bunch of hours already. Go in the house. Go ahead. Eventually you guys will learn how to open and close the doors by yourselves, right? Right, no problem. Don't really want to say them. Got that. It is a bug. Don't think that's enough. I think I'm still short. Go to bed. $26. Friday night. Friday night. Hello. Come here. I see. I don't really have a lot of time for that. Oh, seafood Snoopy noodle. Cook a noodle. Damn. Bug. Watch me be like one short. No, three. 3 actually. Damn. Alright. Outside. 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 Oh. Do not beeline for the fucking crops, I swear to God. Ooh. More pomegranate. Look at these. Oh yeah. What's the matter? I'm just sitting on the door. Oh my lord, hold on. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. There's probably something I can put that in later. Or I'm gonna put my new throne or whatever. But oh, and the bug. The bug! Put the bug in the box. The buggy box. Oh, yeah. I don't think I just have random bugs kicking around, so I'm probably gonna have to just catch a couple more. Oh, wait, what? I think that's a relic, right? I don't think that's a fishing spot. What is this? Oh yeah, freshwater oyster. And an extra freshwater oyster. It's Friday night. I don't know what they're doing anything. Yeah, they're all yapping today. Couldn't be happier about how Dell and her friends finally doing something useful with their time for the town. I guess she's growing up. Daw. I felt such a connection when I first saw the temple flower in the museum's collection. Perhaps because I'd only ever seen it illustrated in the codex. Always at the museum, and I gotta say, that rock root has me stumped. Is it a rock? Or is it wood? I can't tell. My brain. I have to make sure I'm on time for the weekly get-together. Staying on schedule is extra important on Friday. Is there anything new? No. Well, if there was, I probably would have had a thing over it. Did I? Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh. No. No, not until we get to another level. Behold. The power of Zoop. Zoop. Good. Yes. Dell, you have to eat all kinds of foods if you want to grow up big and strong. It's been proven by science. What about all kinds of pancakes? Maybe that's the same. Come on, Luke. Let's run a pancake experiment for science. Oh my god. Keeping the end all ship shape is a full-time job. Luckily, the whole family pitches in. This still hasn't opened. I don't know if there's an event where that does open at all. I don't think so. Zoop. Capybara bristles. What the fuck? We haven't found another one of those. Do I have one of those? I think I do. If not, I can probably. Are they viable? I don't think so. Maybe they are. Hold on. Just to take it off if it is. I don't know why I would think it was here though. Hold on. No. It would not be. You want to hear a joke about receipts? Never mind. It's terrible. Boo! Spring is almost here. The sooner this snow is gone, the happier I'll be. The road to the capital has been a trial. Oh. Oh. Gamma, any more gossip? Oh. Bug. Lovely to see you, my dear. Let's see what we got. What we got going on? We got 6 for her already. Let's see. How about you? Loved gifts. Green tea. Really? Green tea. That's pretty easy. Coffee. Green tea. Grab all these. Grumpy ass, how you doing? Morning. What are you making? You'll find mostly Aldarian artifacts in the Narrows. You can tell due to their characteristic geometric elements and golden accents. Oh, bug. Give me the bug. Ugh. Oh yeah. Alright, back into the pits for a second. So I don't really need to go get more iron for now. I don't know if things appear more so in certain areas or not when it comes to the void stuff. This guy seems new. I don't remember them launching themselves at people. Now you just gotta thwack them away like they're a fucking baseball. That one just shot out a bomb. Are you kidding? Get out of here. Bitch. Oh. This, I think, to be honest, outside of getting the other stuff, the fishing ones are gonna be the slowest because like there's only 1 or 2 of these guys per like level, and if there's only a chance to get shadow stuff, then like it's gonna take a second. Take that little fish. Pebble minnow, that's a new one. Common small deep earth fish. The scales of these fish have taken a pebbled structure or texture to help it blend into its surroundings. Camouflagey. Camouflagey. Oh yo. Take it dead. Get this shit out of the way. Give me that bug. Rat roach. Oh, this guy's hungry. Ah, brother, I'm coming. Give me this. You want that? Oh. I had to chuck it at him? I had to chuck it at him. That's my bad. Ooh. Hell no. Fuck off. Get up there. Rata. Oh, there goes the door. Oh, that. Oh my god. From downtown. What the hell? That motherfucker just disappeared. Ooh, plant. Oh. No space for plant. Void herb. Void herb found throughout the mines can be used to high-level crafting recipes. Hurry up. Get short hopped, bitch. Boop. I fixed it. Oh yeah. Oh no. I got a bug. almost ding-a-ding o'clock. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Hey. Ooh, emerald. I don't got any space for any of this shit though. Kinda want that though. Did I fucking take the God damn. Out. No. Oh, you know what? Oh. I might be stuck in here until I actually find another door. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Get this fucking grass out of here, bro. Hell no. What the fuck you mean? Honestly, I'd rather have those, because those are seasonal, so. Hey. Bing bong. Uh-oh. Panic. Do I have a spell for going home? No. No. It's weird that there's no escape rope either that you can like buy or whatever. There we go. Ah, we have one. Oh! I'm glad I didn't immediately hit the thing. Shit. Okay, cool. So, from here, we can go over here. Over here. Easy. And then we go here. Oop, bap, bibbity. We're getting there. Little by little. It's Friday night. And I'm on my prized cow. Ooh. Is anyone actually gonna be here? Or are y'all gonna go home? Love you to see you make it to Friday gathering. Do let me know if you'd like to split some cake. I love spending a night out seeing all my favorite people. Of course, that includes you. It's finally Friday. Friday. Time for friendly frivolity. No matter how busy things get, there's no way I'd miss spending Friday night at the inn with everyone. Hemlock always saves the good stuff for Friday nights, doesn't he? Cheers. People sure do love Fridays. And I love people, so I'm pumped. Happy Friday, Gustav. Come on, join us, Gustav. It's always nice to share a table, isn't it? Nothing beats spending the evening with friends, eh? Especially when you don't have to cook. Thank you for all your hard work this week. Happy Friday, Gustav. Here to hang out? Why, Gustav, it's good for you to join us. So yeah, they don't really have a lot of extra, like, so Friday nights for the most part. Especially on your first playthrough, they have like these small like story or conversation arcs that'll happen each Friday. And I think we burned through a lot of those. There's been little extra text that they'll say to you here and there personally, but I don't think there's been any bigger things like that that have been added since we last played. The weekend's nearly here, and tonight's a good night to get a head start on it. Darling, how are you this beautiful evening? So nice of you to pay me a visit. A week with minimal emergencies. Now that's something to celebrate. Friday only means one thing. I got a busy weekend of lying around and watching my crystal ball ahead of me. Oh my god. It's not often I'm always away from the forge. There's always more to do. You made it to the get-together. Tell me if there's anything you want from the menu. I'll have it right over to you. You
You've been working hard all week. Go on and get something hearty for yourself. Tell me if I can get anything mixed up for you. I'm on a roll tonight. Speaking of, when we break in and get ready for GBO 2, I'm probably gonna heat up something for myself real quick. Do we have enough bugs? Oh shit. Oh. Every time. Inside. Inside. Get in the house. Go to your home. You too good for your home? Brother. Sleeping in thing. Oh shit, I should have turned that in. Oops. I don't think you really need these or anything. I say that and watch me like, no, someone wanted news. You know what, just in case. Come here, bug. Bug! Bug. Oh, down. You were so close, but you missed a little bit. What the hell? No! No! Save. I do say, but just in case. And then go eat. Oh my lord. On Saturday. Oh, Saturday market is right. Yippee. Alright, so we'll check on that. And then I'll see about the bugs. Weird dog. Come here. Go outside. Hey, buddy. How about that? Yes. Morning, Gustav. See any fish on your way over here? Let's see. Gustav, good morning. You got something new, just bring it to the museum anytime. I think I gotta talk to you? I got the buggies turned in. There you are, Gustav. We just heard from the Royal Society of Entomologists. They approved our application for the Apiary and Terrarium program. Congratulations! And here's the included equipment they provided to get you started. Best of luck to you on your bug hunting. Oh my god, Mamma Mia. I don't know how many $10 billion those are. Let's see. Apiaries and terrariums are placed outside in your farm and filled with bees and bugs per se. Okay. Apiaries can be filled with different kinds of bees to produce different kinds of honey based on rarity. What? Huh. Interesting. For example, putting 4 legendary bees in an apiary will cause it to produce legendary honey.
Similarly, terrariums will produce different bug pheromones and fish bait based on rarity of its bugs. Bugs. Every 3 days, your bees and bugs will develop a certain kind of food, or require a certain kind of food. I don't know if I'm always gonna have those though, buddy. When you feed them, bees will give you honey, while bugs will give you bug pheromones or fish bait. Bug pheromones can be used to open ground to summon a bug for you to catch. For the bugs. The rarity of the summoned bug will match the rarity of the bug pheromone used. For the bugs. Similarly, fish bait can be used in open water to summon a fish that you can then catch. Oh. The rarity of the summoned fish will match the rarity of the fish bait from the bugs. And finally, fish bait can also be used to load the fish trap on the west side of the beach. $900. Did you just give me one? Place the item on your farm and populate it to make it home. Hell yeah. Free shit. Oh yeah. Have you thought about dyeing your hair, Gustav? You know what? They always say this. None of them ever do. Even though we know, I'm pretty sure. I forget if these two do, actually. Adeline says it's important to try new things now and then. I could probably try a mohawk, right? But we know that a certain blacksmith over there does do his hair all the time. The first time I sat down with Vera, she couldn't believe the condition my hair was in. That's what a life on the road will do to you. What if I went red to match March? Might think I'm stealing his thunder, though. Dell really wants to dye her hair blue, but she could but could she sit still for long enough? Probably not. Mom really wants me to talk Dell into a haircut, but I think the bedhead is part of her charm. I love Darcy's jasmine tea. It always puts me in the mind for romance. Speaking of, you must hear about this. Oh, what do we got? Sushi. You are so expensive, girl. Damn. Darcy's always trying to get me to try something called tea, but leaves and water? Is it a kind of soup? No. Have you tried some of Darcy's ice herbals? It's one of her specialty. Fuck, get out of here. Darcy's coffee is a regular part of my schedule. Hard to start the day without it. Can't handle more than 1 cup of coffee a day. Goes straight to my head. A signature drink? Not chocolate, extra marshmallows. What? Got some hot coffee for your sleepy Saturday morning. Let's see, what do we got in here? I don't think she gives recipes, right? No. Is there? Hold on. Is there not like a regular calendar here? Do I have to actually go home to look at that? Maybe. Damn. I didn't think about that. Oh. Let Reese know about any projects you got in mind. Don't be shy now. I keep telling Mr. Lewis, more bows, more ribbons. I demand it. Not just for me, for everyone. I demand. Bond says Mr. Lewis is scared of me on account of he always has to mend my clothes. He says I'm a demon child. It'd be so cool if I was. Errol is such a delight to tailor for. He's better at tying his cravat than some nobles. It's true. Little Bird told me Lewis has some dresses at his booth. I can't wait to try them on. I forget. I think it is actually Lewis, but sometimes I just call him Luis. Ever shop for clothes with Reina? Might be fun for the two of you. Excuse you. Did you know that silk comes from Cocoon's domesticated silkworms? Amazing! Bugs. It's true. Sometimes I'll see a piece at Mary's that doesn't speak to me, and then she'll show me the purple version. She sure knows how to make a sale. It's true. Oh, I thought I got frozen for a second. I was like, oh shit. You're just broken. Have you seen any new sets that I have in stock? Reese and Landon taught me some advanced carpentry techniques, so I could get these ready for Saturday market. What do you got? Is it all haunted shit like normal? No. Coffee mug, candle. I feel like we'd have to expand our house to really justify it, like throwing down for too much. As if I don't got like a billion monies. I want to say that the regular update or like upgrade for like the property is like 50k or something insane like that. Hold on. So we have enough for upgrade 2 in terms of money. We'd have to really grind some stuff for that though. Stone, iron ingots, wood. Do we gotta have it on hand, I guess? Damn, okay. Farm expansion though. So we can make we're there. It's here. Oh shit. Okay, so refined stone and hardwood is gonna be hard to do. But I wanna do that because that would give us more of a reason to actually put some more stuff around and clear out all the grounds a little bit more than they already are. I don't need no more bugs. I need more zoop. That's what I need. That's what I need. I need more zoop. What was I gonna do? I don't remember. My brain. Oh, I know why I'm here. Yeah. I need to use this. We can make a bunch, right? 5 hours. I don't know if there's any way to shorten that. It's just because we're using the machine, right? Hardwood? And that also uses what? Just rock? Well, I guess anything in here would just be rock, which makes it weird that we can get grass seeds. The fuck? I'm sure magical, whatever. But I forget how many it needed. I just looked. Hold on, I can just find out. So 50. Oh, and I don't have enough. Really? Out of all the stuff that I got? That's crazy. Brother, we're gonna be at it for rocks for a while then. But we'll start, right? We'll go 30. I guess well, as it is, we'll be doing some of that in the mines and shit anyway, right? So, hold on to that. I don't think I'm gonna go down there today right away though. I think we're gonna set up some of this. Now, getting bees specifically is gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass because can't say I'm super duper vigilant, and obviously the legendary stuff and all that's gonna be something that we're gonna have to get later on. I don't see any bugs. Oh my god, a bunch of bugs. Ooh. Okay. Bug. Specifically, flying bug. Come here. Polar fly. Where do we put these? I don't want to do here, maybe? Just get rid of this. I don't know how much space these actually take. Move. No. Move. I don't think the well does anything, by the way. It's just an aesthetic thing. Bug. Suddenly bug portent. Furby. What is a bee? During the daytime. Well, you gotta go in here. I'm sorry. If I find another one, I'll turn it into the museum. But for right now, that's important. Bee. Oh my god. Move. Move. Get away. Hey, dog. What the hell are you doing? Come here. Get over here. Bing bong. Is there more tears? Time sensitivity. That's right, it's essence for that. Material world. Drops breakables and mines now drop twice as much. Zombie cattails, hell no. Crafting item occasionally give you 2. Camera timing. Oh. Interesting. That might be worth it, actually. Yeah. Camera timing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which haven't done any tree. Will occasionally drop hardwood. Whoa. Okay, hold on. That's big. That's the big thing for us. Surely it'll happen right away, right? Yeah. Fucked up that tiny. Take that. Oh my god. It's like missed 10,000 times. Get these tiny trees up out of here. Everyone's already asleep. Go in the house. Go in the house. Oh yeah. Oh. Actually, let me fuck up these trees. Now that. Oh, there goes that hardware at work already. Hell yeah. Enya's been at the seed corn again. Keep telling her she can just ask, but what's a feather bottom for you? A feather bottom? She's a feather bottom? That's right. She's the most award-winning lineage to ever grace chickendom. Henrietta Jubilation Featherbottom. It's been an honor and privilege to raise her, but sometimes I wonder if all those blue ribbons and first place trophies have gone to her head. If she's not careful, she could cost her a win one of these days. Slow down and have a drink, Gustav. Mystery's not going anywhere. That old clay pot's so cute. I'm so happy Errol put it out on the museum floor. I wonder what kind of food was stored in it. Winter's ending and it's time to start thinking about my spring workout routine. Plenty of room at the table, Gustav. Pull up a chair. I'd say I'm more of a so-so drinker. Don't have much use for a glass of wine or a pint on the road. Nora's helping me put away some tesserae for Luke's schooling. I'm sure he'll want to study in the capital one day. I'm doing the same for Dell. Although knowing her, she'll spend the money on a sword instead of books. Anyone need anything, you just say the word. That includes you, Gustav. Okay, give it that soup. It's mine. You guys are gonna run out of bowls at this point. Maybe? Huh? Just you. Hey. Wonder if the acidity of Mistria's soil is different when the codex is written. It would explain a lot. The map. Huh. Oh, some of them aren't here because of the shop. Did I get gossip from Goob today? I don't remember actually. I think so, because she was in town, so. Oh, they're probably in the back. Gabby's kinda tough at our place. Imagine getting mugged every morning. God, shut up. Ugh. 2,000. No. We'll get some money though. See how long it takes to really get some honey going. Among other things. But we do have some new stuff unlocked, so that's good. I'll take it. Gotta go hard on the actually I might take some of that into the farm. Gotta go hard on the dungeoneering eventually. Another bug. Put you in here. It's an investment. Another buggy for the pit. I think I put you guys away, right? You're all inside. You're all sleeping and then they just get hyped because the thing goes out. Like, what the fuck? Oh, hell yeah. Oh shit, I fucked up. Oh, I just saw what's happening. Hold on. I'm in a thing. I'm in a door. Get to the bed. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I almost passed up. Still the ass end of winter though. Alright, good morning, but also yeah, today's the last day. And then we go into New Year. Yeehaw! But that will be it for now for Mistria. Gotta start moving on to some GBO2 to get our dailies done, and then after that we'll be live for today. So on the YouTube end, hopefully you guys had fun. I'll hopefully see you on the GBO2 stream when I bring that up, but for now, I'm gonna move on, do some BRB, and I'll see you guys